So we're doing pretty well at this stage. Round 4, we play a team called Power Rangers. And they are not a bad team. So, as far as I understand, they were a scratch team. And in no particular order, their team is one of the most stacked I've ever seen in my life. So we had Theo Hayat, Jay Sriambran, Ben Jones, Vic VJ, and Manny Chima. So we've got multiple super major winners on the team. So a little bit scary going into it, but also very cool. I ended up going into Ben Jones's GSC, which I felt was a good matchup. I felt it was one I could potentially push. There's like a million OC on this from GSC to Cult, which is going to be a problem. But with -1 to hit, I'm hopeful that they can't do like a real hammer blow to me. And then I should be able to outscore them in the end. So looking at this, they've got its Biosantic list. So it's got 3 Abominants leading some Aberrants. It has a Biophagist, which is with some Metamorphs, Patriarchs, Gene Stealers, a couple of annoying loan-up pieces, a lot of Flamers and stuff for CP and Flamers and general stuff. I kind of disrespected the Hand Flamers both here on the Neophytes, and they end up being a very powerful short-range tool that I did underestimate. Some Neophytes for some Sticky, Glass Truck, which housed the Neophytes, some Aberrants for some Bulk and some Punch, some Ridge Runners to essentially give out +1 AP was the main thing. Metamorphosis as another counterpunch unit, big Gene Stealer units, more Gene Stealers units. So there's a lot of infiltrate, there's a lot of advance and charge. Well, I think these guys advance. I might be getting confused. One of them units infiltrated, the rest of them could advance and charge, and just a lot of pressure, a lot of OC, and a very scary list, especially as I think it's about 250 points or so came back throughout the game. Annoyingly, I've only got a blurry picture of my deployment. The key points were I was very worried about getting rushed turn 1. We both have infiltrate. So Ben put a lot of his on his expansion. We were linchpin, so defending home is important. And I put essentially a body block of stuff here. This didn't feel like it was going to be a slow trade game. This just felt like a game I was going to have to get aggressive quickly and just meet fire with fire. Because the regenerating units meant I can't just go 1 for 1, so we're going to need to up that tempo. A little bit similar to the Thousand Suns game. A lot of these try and deploy so we can get as many of their bases on there as possible. Spawn here, this is after they scouted, they came back here just to help protect this and keep away a bit from the infiltrate. We had to the spawn here, coming up over here. Given the lack of shooting, we could put a drone here right on the line to come up and start threatening this line as quick as possible. And we have Poxwalkers here just to try and delay GSC a turn. Sometimes I want to keep them safe and sort of put them here. But I didn't want to get rushed down turn 1 before my Terminators can sort of come in and come to the rescue. So they're across the line just to body block GSC for as long as possible. Equally, we have Tallyman and one of the drones here just to screen as much as possible, which is obviously very important when GSC have as many deep strike abilities as they do. Terminators in reserve. This was one of the game where I considered putting them on the table, but I did again just want that ability to be reactive. So much clearer picture of GSC deployment. You can see they've got their infiltrating units up here. They've got their big Gene Stealer brick here. They've got some trucks here and here. Sorry, and then they've got a massive stuff here. So not a lot of stuff here. There's worries potentially. I think I could get shot, and then a lot of stuff here to start applying pressure early on. We were also playing on the heavy map, which means you can hold it from behind here. It didn't make too much of a difference. But it did mean that they could put 3 guys here, get 6 OC, and then have stuff here. It did mean they were chargeable, so I didn't mind the trade-off. It meant I could get my drones into stuff easier here, but yeah, only a small difference for the heavy map on this. So, turn 1, Ben went first, aggressive right off the bat, gets his infiltrating squad over here to come and charge my spawn. As it became sort of a recurring theme for the day, the spawn felt just about unkillable. They seemed to spike up just enough. so that was always nice. I think they tag the drone as well. They don't end up doing much to either of them. The Gene Stealers come here. They take out most of the Poxwalkers to do Cling to Life, which allows me to sticky the objective that's at the top of shot. I roll a battle shock. I happen to get lucky and past it. It's not a big thing because I think GSC are going to take it anyway, so I don't need to worry about sticky, but it's nice to have. My turn, I get aggressive immediately right back. So I get my Flesh Mower drone to move up and charge the guys behind the wall here. He had some of the neophytes, I think it is, the shooty GSC infantry unit. Here, I've tried to shoot off the Gene Stealers that got here. I don't have a great amount of success. The Aberrant squad comes in. I then charge with the Prince to get them. And I charge this drone in as well, just feeling that I want as many units in the midboard as I can, as early as I can. It's not a combat drone, but it does, just in case like this guy takes out him and these guys take out him or something like that. I've got another unit in the midboard, and it keeps them from being able to go further. Like, it's unlikely they're going to kill 2, but then definitely never going to come 3, and it keeps... I want to keep the boy in the midboard for as long as I can and not have GSC just rush into my deployment zone. That said, turn 2 GSC, and they immediately start trying to rush into, if not my deployment zone, then certainly my half of the table. The Neophyte squad gets out of the truck and comes forward. Not Neophyte, Metamorphs. Neophytes come around over here. Not much damage happens here, to be honest. Little things sort of get picked away, and it's a bit of a grind of a fight. So screening, obviously always important, but even more so when you've got 6-inch deep striking Death Shroud and just the amount of units that can either are natively in Deep Strike or can die and come back to Deep Strike from GSC. So we had lots of units on both sides covering the back. So lots of 6-inch measurements coming out and 9-inch measurements for me. The trucks being a really nice screening unit for Ben, and then you have the odd little character sort of popped around so I can't get any drops in. The big Gene Stealer unit comes out. It's an immediate push. They come in nice and aggressively, and so I have to respond with my Blight Lords. They're able to keep the Blight Lords out. I actually don't want to overwatch these. I want to have enough CP to do other things with. And given that the Gene Stealers are 2 wounds each these days, hitting them with like some flamers and stuff means I might kill 1 or 2 of them. Like if I high roll, I'll kill 3 or 4 if the Blight launchers go off. And that just didn't feel like worth a CP. I also didn't want to heroically intervene with the Blight Lords and get them tied up in combat with the Aberrants, because I really wanted to have their shooting available next turn, and just being in combat with 1 Aberrant felt pretty disastrous. So the Aberrants, they were the ones that came in turn 1. They'd got shot to death, and then I killed it in combat and exploded in some mortals to me via a strat, and then Gene Stealers come in to keep the pressure on. GSC get an early 13 points in primary, able to hold the middle and this objective here and their home, and so I'm feeling the early scoreboard pressure. That said, I have a reasonably good turn 2. The Blight Lords clear out most of the stuff that's coming here. They charge the big Gene Stealer units. They get a bit unlucky. The Patriarch spikes. It saves a bit to stay alive on 2 wounds. That said, it is very much in the open. I've got all these flamers there looking at it. I can't get to the middle, which is annoying, as I think I have secured. I can only get this one with a drone. I try and stop GSC primary by shooting this guy down here, but I only kill 1. These guys shoot here and kill, I think, the neophytes, and I think they kill 1, so I've essentially just given GSC free movement, which is a bit disappointing. The Spawn continue to be heroic. These guys come in, they finish off a Gene Stealer, they come in here and they kill a few of the Metamorphs. The Metamorphs, these spawn, they fell back, but they get right next to these Metamorphs, so if the Metamorphs, again, they want to pile in, they have to go into the spawn. They do essentially no damage, and then the spawn really rip them to pieces. So I have a bit of a disappointing shooting phase, to be honest. In fact, I probably make GSC's life easier with my shooting phase, other than the Blight Lords. And then our combat phase seems to be going all right, and then seems to be going all right when these guys come in. This is annoying, and then the Spawn really turn it into a good phase. But GSC get another 15. Again, I'm still only getting 3s on primary this stage. And we're up against it, albeit I do have end of game scoring in my favour. So yeah, just to look back through a screening, you can see we've got all of the measurements out. Sometimes, most of the rest of the day, or the days, Death Guard have been like a slow training game, and this is definitely not one of those. Ben's coming at me and being aggressive. I'm trying to be as aggressive and chuck as much stuff as field scanning, just keep a minimal presence. So we're like, cool, there's a spot over there they can deep strike, that's fine. I just need stuff getting into the middle as fast as I can and just trying to counter the sheer waves of pressure I'm getting thrown at me. So I'm feeling like I've stabilised, and then turn 3 really feels like it's going to be a disaster. These guys come round, I'm saving my Overwatch so I can get into this guy, so the Patriarch can't do anything. And in the middle, just more waves of bodies seem to come through. I'm not controlling the middle. I lose the Prince here. I think these guys fall back. I get grenaded, and they're like the Weber and the Flamers just combine to pick them off. You know, not so much the Weber. The Weber just happens to be the guy that finishes the Prince off. He rolls 2 devs on his Flamer, but the combination of like the extra AP from the Ridge Runners and easy re-rolls and means that they just kept chipping away at the Prince over a couple of turns, and eventually he got burned to death. Another Abra unit that died came back, and this is where I felt things were going wrong, because they make a big charge into my drone here and keep me pinned back. So yeah, Trucker come around to come and see it and potentially tied up. It's only 2 us here, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get some primary at last, and then they make their charge. It's like, bother. And then these guys end up making charge into the Blight Lords, which means the Patriarch can get in as well. As you can see, it's quite a distance. I can't remember if this is before or after movement. And then these guys are free up to charge here. So these guys stop me from overwatching him. He can come in. These guys come in, and suddenly I've got a nil on primary, and it feels very, very tough to come back, especially as Ben's got, I think, 26 points from his 2 turns on primary, and I've got 3. I'm pop -1 damage here. The Patriarch ends up low rolling and doing nothing. I think he does 2 damage in total. These guys do essentially nothing. In fact, I think I pop more CP to interrupt, so these guys don't have a chance to do anything. Not because I'm worried they're going to wipe the squad, but just because I'm going to need every gun to keep the pressure up. Blight Lords kill them both. They move a little bit closer to various things. It's the best thing that happens on the turn by a really long way, even if the primary's nailed. So yeah, this is how they end up after their movement phase. Able to get some guys up here. Their Shroud have to come down, and I have to immediately start to pressure this thing. So they've got a 6-inch deep shoot strike. This guy comes at a slightly weird angle, just so that his base can fit over on the a 6 and still be engagement range, so we can charge these guys and not worry about it. A couple of guys string back to make sure we get some flamers in there, and we get some flamers in there. These guys end up living. These guys, the Blight Lords and the Death Shroud combined, and they don't do much, which is a bit annoying. The last guy sort of, that's not strategy. They do quite a bit. The one guy survives, I think it is, and he just proves a mild pain in my side. He lives a lot of stuff, but I've got this drone here, so I've got enough OC on the objective. Here, I have a interesting choice for the spawn. Yep. So I've got these 2 objectives to worry about, and I've only got a couple of units. They've got 7 OC on this point up top, and I've got to try and work out what I can put where, because they've got a damage unit, they've got a bunch of OC here, and they've got stuff in the middle. I'm happy the Blight Lords can do the middle, and then I've got the sort of dilemma here of where to send stuff. I want to try and get 6 OC here and kill this, and if I get, and then if I want to see if I kill this first. So this drone is in combat, you can't see much stuff, see what happens there, do a bit of chip damage. This guy, then try to shoot him. If I can kill him, it's really big, because it puts him down to 5. It means I can put a drone on and these spawn on, and I'll control the objective even if the aberrants kill here. But when I don't kill it, I'm like, cool, spawn go here, spawn out making a reasonable charge here. We end up really chewing through this squad much better than I have expected, and taking out a big damage piece for GSC. This is the Metamorph unit that have come back to life. And while it means that GSC get more primary, I have really run them out of damage this turn. So now it's a race to see if I can catch up on the primary in particular. So yeah, Death Round make their charge. They obliterate the guys here. Not unsurprisingly, considering they kill much bigger targets than 70-point Acolyte unit. And now we've got these 10 bodies in the middle. It's going to be hard for GSC to get anything on here, especially as a lot of the space is like physically blocked. And even if they can get like 5 little dudes on here, then the flames and things make it very dicey for that prospect to happen. Yep, so this is the backfield. I was annoyed enough that I took an overview. I'm still doing my best to... No, I've given up screening at this point. All of their stuff is dead and come back, so they don't have any more units they can bring in. I'd potentially give it a try and keep one back, but all of his units were on the pressure and pressuring me somewhere, so I think that's more of me wanting to have an additional unit than anything else. So this Tallyman comes in. When the Tallyman charges, you know something's either gone very right or very wrong for Death Guard. And I was feeling very stretched. Sadly, despite getting 4 saves through on the Gene Stealer, he passed all of them on 1 wound and did a wound back to my Tallyman. It didn't end up mattering, but it was very annoying at the time. So yeah, Spawn clear the way through. It means we can start to pressure GSC home objective. I'm really behind on primary, so I want to see if I can get there. And I'm going as aggressive as I can be in the situation. But GSC get another 8 on primary, so they're really racking up the points, especially as we've only got 1 tick on our home field objective, I think, at this point. Get a bit of luck here. So this truck was originally here. This little guy can move on here without being overwatched, which is annoying. So he gets 1 OC, and then it's a case to see if this truck can get on here, and he ends up just an inch. Well, he ends up 2 inches short. Ben CP rolls, ends up just 1 inch short, so he can't get there. So these go to hide and make sure the Death Shroud can't like chain him off everything. In the middle, this is now lost to GSC. Ben recognises this and goes in after the spawn. So he sends his Aberrant, sends Saboteur, he sends his unit here and the truck after them. Thankfully for me, this goes very bad for him. So yeah, everything's starting to line up to try and take out my spawn. Yeah, very much more the same. Yeah, so I think this is after combat and shooting. You see, they killed 1 of the spawn. The truck went in and the spawn killed that, which makes life easier for here. There's a bit less OC. The mildly annoying thing is now this can't go and try and get to GSC's home objective, but I can't complain. This thing I think is on full health. The Aberrant failed. He rolled lots of 3s to hit, which was a -1, meant he missed. And then a combination of some pretty good spiked field up pains and things just meant that the spawns just refused to die this game. They were brilliant. Absolute MVPs in this game. And that is essentially it. So my turn from there, we were... this guy came up here. We make sure we hold that. We fell back, so we've got 6 OC. See, these guys are essentially out of the game. We tidied up a little bit in the middle. So we got 2 turns of essentially scoring here, and then we got a big 15 at the end for the middle. We couldn't get to GSC home, but slightly bizarrely Ben ended up outscoring me on primary, but I actually outscored GSC on secondary, which was certainly a bit fortunate. It's not something I'd have expected to do to GSC. And this ended up as a 10-10. I think Ben won by like 2 points or if it was a singles game. Albeit I had a secondary at the end that I chose not to redraw because it guaranteed 10-10. I wouldn't have got any better. And chasing a singles win, I was worried I could have dropped a point. So it was like, cool, we'll stick to that. And we had an incredibly close round overall. So it was 10-10 here. Manny into Sam was also 10-10. Vic VJ beat Haristo 11-9. Dennis beat Jay 8 points to 12, and then Byron was essentially the difference maker, winning his game against Theo's Necrons 14-6. So we got exactly 55 points to their 45, which is the exact margin we needed to win. So against at least 3 of the biggest names in the UK, we managed a win, and we were all absolutely pumped off this round. It was a really good game, both here and across the round, and it was really awesome to be part of.